So if you look at the lab manual, I'm thinking of page 24, 25, where which describes the activities you have to perform, and then 25 is the worksheet. The same worksheet, slightly similar worksheet is over here, which is the same thing that is uploaded um, to the Blackboard. Now, remember this lab was designed to, meet in person and carry out in person. So, originally as designed, we would be visiting this place called Wyman Meadows, and we will be catching macroinvertebrates, and you will be taking 2 GPS recordings in 2 different locations. But we will not be doing that particular part, right? We will not be going to Wyman Meadows, and we will not be catching bugs. Instead, I'm going to ask you to visit 2 different cemeteries. Now, this visiting cemeteries is important because the 2 locations that you are going to pick for this particular activity will be used again in a subsequent lab on human demography, right? So, in your hometown, pick 2 different cemeteries. Okay, and if you are going to access BSU frequently, if you are in the area, I can recommend 2 cemeteries, right? I mean, if we'll go to Google Earth, and first one is First Cemetery, which is I thought it would pop up. All right, Bridgewater. There you go, and there you go. It's going to take a second to zoom in. So that's one of the cemeteries in Bridgewater, right? This is actually right across BSU. This is the science lot. Okay, you can walk from science building to First Cemetery. The 2 cemeteries you pick that you have easy access to, one of them should be a very old cemetery, about 100 years old, where the burials comes from 100 years or before, right? Maybe like 500 years. First Cemetery, I think you have some of the burials that are nearly that are from 1700s actually, right? So about nearly 500 years older, right? And then from Bridgewater, a much more a cemetery with much more recent burials is actually Mount Prospect Cemetery. Mount Prospect Cemetery, right? Um, and if I search, this is the address for the first cemetery, 19th Summer Street, Bridgewater, right? And if I zoom into Mount Prospect, right, this is actually Mount Prospect Cemetery, right? Right over here. So, right, that is Mount Prospect, this area, right? That one it has burials from like less than 100 years ago, right? It has more recent burials. So those are 2 examples, right? Like if you are in the area, if you have access to these sites, you are more than welcome to choose those locations. So, but you don't have to stick with them, right? You can actually pick your own locations in your hometown. So right now, pick 2 cemeteries, one old, one recent, right? And then visit them, right? You can visit both of them on the same day, and then using your smartphone at each location, you are going to take a GPS reading. Okay, now I'm going to demonstrate to you, based on 2 locations. I'm going to go by Mount Prospect and First Cemetery and take two and show you 2 GPS readings, and then I'm going to show you how to plug them in to Google Earth and then take a map out of that. So I visited Mount Prospect and First Cemetery, and I recorded the GPS, right? And in this case, I recorded from in terms of degrees, minutes, seconds, right? You can record by decimal degrees. You can record by degrees, decimal minutes. It doesn't matter, right? Just be consistent in the way you record it. That's all. So now let me plug these coordinates. I'm going to just copy it into Google Earth into this search box, right? Now, if this search box is not visible, right, like for example, if it is like this, this is the actually search box, but like it's better at earlier to keep the sidebar on so that you can actually clearly see um, the search box, right? You copy and paste that and hit search, right? And it will automatically zoom you into that is Mount Prospect, right? Um, so actually, I am interested in this area, so I'm going to actually first move, by right clicking. I move this thumbnail to the middle of the cemetery, right? And I don't like to label that thumbnail by the coordinates. I would rather label it by the name, right? It's actually, no, Mount Prospect, right? And then I will click this, right? Um, and so yeah, that's one thing. So what is the best way to take a snapshot of this? Zoom in and out a little bit, make sure that you can actually have a good view, right? I would like this view because now I see this, the woody area, right? The forest area. See the streets, see the development, the neighborhood. So I have a good landscape view of my study location. So I'm happy with this particular view. In order to save this as a photograph, rather than taking a screenshot, I'm going to go to File, Save, Save Image, right? And then you will get, into this view, right? And well, now it actually automatically places this title map and the legend. Do I really like it? Well, no, because I'm going to give it a different caption, right? And I don't need the legend, not that you don't need, not that it's harmful, it's just, like clutters your view, right? And then hit save image and it will let you save it somewhere, right? I'll say I will name it as location 1. I'll give it a meaningful name so that you can find it, save it in a location voila. Let's go back to the location where I saved it, right? And try to find it on my own. Here we go, and let's open it. Let's see whether it's in good shape. Yep, pretty good. Going to copy it like this. Then I'm going to go back to my Word document, which was my worksheet that I have to submit it, right? And over here, right, I'm going to paste it. There you go. Now I have to give it a good title. Like I have some sort of a title over here, Figure 1 Study Site for Human Demography Project, and it's not First Cemetery, it's Mount Prospect, right? And yeah, I have good enough you can make this caption as detailed as possible. It doesn't have to be short. It has to be short, but it doesn't have to be too short, right? It doesn't have to be like a single phrase. You can have a couple of sentences there. That's fine, right? And so I have provided what state it is, what city. Now you might actually even include, latitudes and longitudes within parentheses over here, like geo coordinates, and then put your latitudes and longitudes over there. So any additional detail can go into the caption, right? Keep it detailed, keep it succinct but detailed. Don't make it meaninglessly small, short. Now you will have to do it twice. So this is just First Cemetery, right? If you can look at my worksheet, I already have the coordinates for the second site. You are just going to do exactly the same that I showed you, right? In order to get the second imagery, right? And that part is as easy as that. Now, if you happen to have a second location, right, the second cemetery very close to the first one, you can add both of them in the same map. Let's say you have a second one somewhere over here, right? Click this thumbnail, move the thumbnail to a suitable location where you have your second cemetery and rename it, right, over here the same way by replacing this particular part. And in that way, you don't have to have two maps. You can have just single map showing both locations, and you can, let's actually make it second location, right? And you will be giving a much more meaningful name, the name of your second cemetery. And then again, right, you go to File, Save Images, right? And yeah, I like the options, and then hit save. Right, make sure that you don't have that huge meaningless legend and that big title in the map. It's just distracting and it's not useful, right? And hit save, right? And then save it somewhere you can remember. Copy and paste it into the Word document, right? Now when you zoom in and out, make sure you are not too zoomed in like that. So like like this level, it's not meaningful. It's not showing you the habitat, it's not showing you the landscape. So make sure that, and don't zoom too much out. This is meaningless, right? It doesn't show you anything that is locally important, right? The landscape is visible, but well, you are losing all the details in the local habitat, right? So try to orientate towards a level that is quite meaningful um, to show in a map. This is good enough, right? Um, okay, now let's go back to the map over here. So this is how you take two points, two locations onto the same map. So you you save the image and you paste it into um, your Word document, like over here, right? And now if you are putting both locations in the same map, add that details into your figure caption, right? Mention the name of the both locations. If not, just keep one location. Now the second activity is based on an unknown GPS location that we are going to give to you. You can actually download it from your Blackboard page over here, right? From it is named GPS unknown, and in the GPS unknown we are looking at over here. Here we are providing several locations, right? And we are providing the data in degrees decimal minutes format, right? And here we are looking at what orientation: northern latitudes versus western longitudes. So what do you do over here? Just copy and paste and pin these numbers into the search box in Google Earth in the same way I just demonstrated for the symmetry locations, right? Zoom in and zoom out, um, take a good look at that location, and when you are done with a good view, save it as an image, copy and paste it into the worksheet, and provide it a good caption, right? So there are over 100 locations listed over here, and I am going to let you pick any number, right? From this particular list. It doesn't matter which one. You can go all the way to start from the bottom, start from the top, doesn't matter. Make sure you correctly copy the all degrees and minutes, right? And then figure out what you are looking at, right? When you are given the caption, right, based on Google Earth, right, I want you to figure out what location it is, right? And you might have to do additional Googling for that particular location, right? And another thing that you might be able to do is actually, if you open Google Maps like that, right? Even in Google Maps, you can actually search these locations. Let's look for these two locations over here. 6538.008 and 4.029, right? And this is north and this is west, right? Now I'm not plotting in Google Earth, I'm plotting on Google Maps, right? So in this way, well, I'm actually in the middle of a lake, I believe, right? Actually, no, I am in the Norwegian Sea, right? Don't know why I picked that particular coordinates. It's pretty funny. And so in this case, like actually it's don't pick number one. It's not providing a meaningful one. Oh, actually I know what I did. It should be 150. See what happens when you don't properly copy everything, right? right? There you go. That's actually my actual location. It is Chicago Lakes, right? And well, I'm looking at Yukon River, so I should be somewhere in Canada, I believe, or close to our northern border, or if not in Alaska. There you go. Actually, we are in Alaska, right? So see, like, I mean, at first you cannot understand where that is, right? Like, what is this location? Well, as you zoom out, it helps you to figure out where it is. Now let's try to pin the same coordinates over here and see what happens, right? Actually automatically navigates to that particular location. Let it zoom, right? Aha, same thing, right? Lake Chicago. Well, I don't know where this is, right? This is not a good enough wave to take a good picture, and it still doesn't give me enough information, right? Let me zoom out, keep zooming out until I see something visible. Now I see a street. Ah, now I know it's Alaska, right? And I know it's in between the Brooks Range and the Alaskan Range, right? So now I have a little bit more information about that particular location, right? And in certain locations, if you zoom in, you might get more details, right? And sometimes it's hard to find those details. So that's why actually I shifted to Google Maps, and then in my Google Maps, I actually got a better idea about where this particular location is, right? Because it actually has more labels, right? It's in Yukon River, right? And the closest town is Rampart, right? And it's in Alaska. So I would give it a meaningful caption, right? Yukon River Wilderness, Rampart, Alaska, right? Or you can call it Yukon River Yukon River riparian zone, Rampart, Alaska, right? Whatever a meaningful name that you can provide as the caption should go in there. And do not take a screenshot of the Google Maps. See how meaningless that is, right? But do take save an image over here, right? Um, and I think that should answer all the questions in your part 2 of that particular worksheet, right? And so number of the unknown location assigned to you, like I picked 1. So if I were to submit this, I will put 1 over here, right? In your case, put whatever the number. Don't pick 1 because I have already shown it to you. GPS of the unknown location, just copy and paste degrees and minutes, right? And also indicate whether it's north or west. And the identity of the unknown location, like I mentioned, like, Yukon River, Alaska, right? And then paste the image and provide it a caption. Do not forget to provide it the caption. Well, with that, it concludes the GPS activity. Do not forget to complete everything, double check everything, and then upload your completed worksheet through Blackboard. You have a week to do that. Well, in a week, I will see you again with another lab assignment. Until then, bye-bye.